Welcome back. You're watching the debate here on France 24. Today we're discussing the volatile situation in Pakistan, with thousands of protesters out on the streets calling for the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif to resign and entering the red zone in Islamabad to try and march on the parliament there. Well, to discuss these developments with me, I'm joined by the Pakistani ambassador to France, Khalib Iqbal. He's with me in the studio. From Islamabad, we've got a representative of Imran Khan's party, the PTI, that's Umar Raymond, joining us there from Islamabad. And from Lahore, we're joined by Aisha Siddiqa, who's a political and defence analyst, who's written extensively on politics and the economy and the military relationship in Pakistan. Those issues we'll be coming back to. But first, I just want to give viewers at home a sense of the huge crowds that have been gathering when Imran Khan, the cricketer turned politician, addressed the crowds in Islamabad, announcing that he intended to lead them on this march inside Islamabad's red zone. Take a listen.
You will have heard that we have resigned from all assemblies except Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. We don't accept the assembly, which has been established through fraud. And we don't accept this Prime Minister.
Oh, so very strong words there. I want to start off by bringing in Aisha Siddiqa, who's joining us from Lahore. I mean, has Imran Khan boxed himself into an impossible situation here with no real way out here, raising the stakes very high, saying that he won't stop this, he won't back down until the Prime Minister resigns?
See, firstly, if you look at what he's saying, he's resigned, he's made his people resign from all assemblies except for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where he's made the government. That's very strange. I mean, he always reminds me of my seven-year-old niece, who wouldn't accept any results in a game until she wins. So in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it's all right because they have a government. The rest of it, they do not accept. I mean, if there is rigging, massive rigging in elections, then his government and KP is also a result of that rigging. But he accepts those results there, but he doesn't accept results elsewhere. There are complaints also against the PTI for rigging. The other thing is that, yes, he's not leaving any exit strategy there. You need to talk. And, what Mr. Rahman was saying about, Pakistan being in the middle of thick of war in 14 years. Now, this is a very decisive moment. We have about 1 million IDPs, internally displaced people in Pakistan, as a result of the military operation. We need to attend to that. And suddenly, just 12 hours ago, India shelved the foreign secretary level talks. There are issues that we need to attend to, but we are now, all of us are concentrating on what's happening in the red zone. Now, I'm sure that the idea is not to have a circus in the red zone. Ultimately, they would like to cross another line. He keeps defining his own line. I mean, sometimes his statements, one doesn't know where would he stop. Now, as he moves on, and if the idea is to actually take his people and force the Prime Minister out of the Prime Minister house, out of the Parliament, what is the ultimate objective? Because this is an extra constitutional method. Their protest, of course, is constitutional, but the manner in which this is being done is certainly not constitutional. There are people which Mr. Khan does not accept, but they have voted for the other parties. If you look at what the votes that PTI got about 20%. Rest of the 80% votes went to other parties. And it almost seems as if nobody else has a right but Mr. Khan, his party and his voters to decide what the country would want.
OK, let me bring in here Pakistan's ambassador to France, Khalib Iqbal. I mean, how can the government diffuse this political crisis there? Imran Khan saying that he won't stop until the Prime Minister resigns, that the result of the election results which brought Nawaz Sharif into power were fraudulent. I mean, what is the way out here? Is there any possibility of a re-election? What's the way forward?
To begin with, I think let's be very clear that the elections in Pakistan, when it were held, We even had the EU observers over there, and they said that these were free and fair elections. Number one. Number two, saying that the Prime Minister should resign, there is no option in the Constitution to deal with such a situation. Either you go for a no confidence vote, which is not possible because the government has the majority along with their allies, and even the opposition supports that. And the second is that you wait for your turn, which will come after 5 years from the day of the last elections. In between, other than going through the constitutional means, I doubt it very much that just saying that the Prime Minister should resign or XYZ should resign, that is not simply possible. It's not allowed under the Constitution. And what are the guarantees that if one person resigns, that tomorrow, after 10 years from now, in another election, somebody says, okay, the Prime Minister should resign? We have been, there used to be a clause which was 58(2)(b) in the Constitution, under which the military governments and subsequently even the civilian governments made it possible for themselves to the president to fire the prime minister anytime they wanted.
Okay, so let me put these what you're saying to Umar Rehman, who's a member of Imran Khan's party, the PTI. There we've got the Pakistani ambassador to France saying that there's just simply no mechanism for the Prime Minister to resign, that the constitution of Pakistan does not function like that. So where does that leave your next move?
The thing is, we have already gone through a proper process where Imran Khan has made a very legal demands, and that was not very heavy demands. That was just to demonstrate that all the elections that have been held, that is a mass rigging in the whole election process. So what he started with, he has given just 4 constituencies as a test to see that if there's a rigging or not. This is since 14 months that PTI was trying to get the serious response from the government and all of the institutions of Pakistan. It is a very sad event that today where PTI is standing, that was the government's main fault to bring PTI to that extent where they have no other option to come on the roads. So if the government was serious in resolving those issues, you never resolve the issues by making the commissions, because if you see the history of Pakistan, there were a lot of commissions that have been made and that have never given some positive impact, or the reports were not even consulted by the governments and the concerned people. So this is not the non-serious attitude that bring the PTI out. And today, if we have to go with all the constituencies, and if you have to go through the law, there is a law in Pakistan that says that the Prime Minister should be Sadiq and Amin. And I think that all my other participants, they know exactly about what it says. It says that if you're the Prime Minister, he's not a Prime Minister of a party. He's a Prime Minister representing whole Pakistan. So he has to tell the truth to the public, and he has to safeguard the interest of the public. So at the various points, Nawaz Sharif in his speeches, he has lied to the nation, and that is on the record.
Okay,
So
what about Imran Khan's position? Because he's come out very strongly. We heard him speaking there. I mean, has he isolated himself politically? There's not been that much backing from opposition parties. You've had far smaller crowds on the streets than had been promised. Has he not backed himself into a corner here?
Listen, as the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI in general, they wanted to change the system. That was the initial slogan of Imran Khan. So what he's trying to achieve today, it is not to have some bargaining on the political grounds. What he's trying to achieve here, to bring those things that are quite common, and that is a problem of the whole nation. It is not of a single government or some political parties. So he's bringing up those issues on highlight. And if you see the reaction of all other parties, they do agree that there are some serious issues regarding the way the elections are held in Pakistan, and that needs to be approved. So that confirms that his stance on those things were right. That has already been approved by the opposition parties and all of them. Now, the question that why they are not coming out and why they are not contributing to that is because the way the elections are held in Pakistan, they don't want to lose their power. This is the power play, and where the ordinary man is not getting any advantage out of it, and all this elite class is keeping the power in their hands and making the constitutions. So this is ultimately no remedy for the public of Pakistan, but it is protecting some elite that are up there, and all this is serving for their causes.
Ayesha Siddiqa, a question for you. Some commentators in Pakistan have raised the possibility that there could be links between these protest movements and the military establishment in Pakistan, who we know have had an awful lot of power since independence. Do you believe that to be the case here?
Well, I suspect that is something which smells true. And of course, the problem with linking military with a particular government or a particular party is that you don't have receipts which show that which show transactions which show that people have been hired. But from the look of it, from observation, it seems that one of the reasons that some of us believe that Imran Khan and Tahir Qadri simultaneously. Imran Khan is a political player. He's been in politics. He's been in Pakistani politics for about a couple of decades. But Tahir Qadri is somebody who has been imported from Canada and made to play a role. And we believe that this is not just a pure coincidence. And holding these long marches is again not coincidental.
Umar Raymond, let me let Umar Raymond come back on this as a representative of the PTI, Imran Khan's party. What do you make of these allegations that there could be a link between the military establishment and these protest movements? Where do you stand on that?
It is, in Pakistan, it is very easy. There's always like three powers that are involved in politics. When you have to blame them, you've got the three names to name. Then one of them is the military, and the one of them is the America, and the one of them is the God. These three powers, they play the role for all the disaster of anything that's not going right. So it's a culture of putting the blame straight away on these lines. So let me answer you about these claims that the military involvement is in supporting PTI and everything. That was that they have done it in the previous government as well, where they have put a lot of pressure on the army. And today, what you see on the streets, the military cannot bring an ordinary man towards the street. They cannot have the full support on that. And today, the military, what is their role? So basically, what they are doing, they are today with the government, and they are obeying as the government is saying them. So making such claims without any roots has no significant value. I would like to ask them if they have got some proofs. Please present here and let us also know that there is some involvement. I am coming from France to participate in Islamabad, and you can claim it that it is the military that asked me to come from all the way from France to Islamabad to participate in this movement. So there are a lot of people like me who are here. So the thing is that the people on the ground, they are really fed up with this government. The definitions like red zones and all these zones, there's no red zones. There's no constitutional definition of the red zones. That is created, that's just psychologically to suppress the people. They have come up with the definitions of the red zones and the great interest. And when you see in the reality, all the protest that is going on from the day one.
Okay, let me bring in here Khalib Iqbal. Where do you stand on this suggestion that perhaps this is a way for the military establishment in Pakistan to try and worm its way back into power? Do you see that as a real threat here?
No, I think this is, if I may use a very strong word, this is probably ridiculous if we say that the military is involved in the whole thing. It's simply not possible. We have a very disciplined military, and at the moment we are fighting a war against the terrorists. Our military is involved in that. We have two borders which are not very safe at the moment. We have border with India, with whom we are trying to improve our relations, and it's improving considerably since that time. On the other side, we have Afghanistan, where the final result, who is going to be the president over there, has not come out. In between, we have those extremist and terrorist people who have made our lives miserable for the last so many years. When this war on terror was finally announced, the Operation Zarb-e-Azab on 15th of June, Since that time, the military is fully involved over there. Which military would be willing to get into politics while they are fighting a war? It's simply out of question.
Okay, well, Aisha Siddiqa, pardon, we've heard there two rebuttals of this argument that perhaps there's some military involvement here. I mean, what do you say to those answers there?
I'll tell you what is very ridiculous. So it's very ridiculous not to understand, firstly, that political movements have been in the past. They have been maneuvered. They have been raised. I mean, look at history. Look at how Prime Minister Mossadegh, his entire government was overthrown with seemingly a popular political movement. Now, what Mr. Rahman is saying, he's pointing out individuals. In certain individuals like he himself, he's asking that he's not been brought by the military. Of course, nobody's saying receipts. As I said, there are no receipts. It's observations. See, what's important to understand is that this military is a professionally structured military which does not often behave professionally. It is a political army as well. And political army, which Pakistan is almost 70 years old. In 70 years, it has built enough sufficient linkages with different players in the society, in politics, to maneuver through them. If it's fighting on the Eastern Front and if it's fighting the war on terror, it doesn't mean that all the generals, all the people are involved in that. And when I say political involvement, it doesn't mean either that the ordinary soldier will come in and be fighting here. There's a lot of political maneuvering which happens. And the fear, I mean, look what Mr. Imran Khan is trying to do here by crossing over. Red zone is not constitutional, or it's not even unconstitutional. I mean, it's not an issue of constitution. This is a zone where you have the diplomatic enclave, which needs high security, which you need to keep secure. After all, it's a nuclear weapon state. You need to keep its top decision makers secure. And it's an area, given the history of terrorism, this is an area which you want to keep safe. But, look at what Mr. Imran Khan is trying to do. He's trying to provoke the military to take action. Maybe he's doing it, on his own. Maybe he's not. I think we should be, as an analyst, I should be open, my mind should be open to see and observe what I see could be happening.
Okay, Umar Raymond, just very quickly, your response to that particular charge that Imran Khan is trying to provoke the military to take action.
Listen, the thing is that, first of all, we have to come to the fact. The Pakistan has got a very professional military army that is never involved into the politics. Whenever there was a political failure, army has always opened the doors for army to fill that gap, that vacuum. So today, if you think that there would be the PTI, if you put the arguments like the PTI is supported by the military or all these non-serious allegations, I would like to ask Aisha how she, as an analyst, how she thinks that the PMLN, the Nawaz Sharif was brought by the military, right? So you know it as well. So why not the military standing right now with Nawaz Sharif? There's a more possibility that he would be standing with the present government because it is already documented and it's fact that the present government, the PMLN, the party that's a major stakeholders in that was supported by the military in the Zia regime.
Well, let's bring in Aisha there. What is your response to what we're hearing there from Umar Rahman?
Well, if Mr. Rahman knew Pakistani history and politics a bit more, you'd know that actually a lot of other, not just Nawaz Sharif, other political leaders have been brought into politics by the military itself, starting from Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the first popularly elected prime minister. Military has a history of creating those partnerships. Nawaz Sharif, they're not standing. I mean, once you bring in somebody, doesn't mean that they'll always be aligned with you, and vice versa. So in these 20, 30 years, there has been a break between Nawaz Sharif and the military. In fact, every time that he has become the prime minister, there's always been tension between him and the military over distribution of power. Now they are looking perhaps they are tired of Nawaz Sharif and they're looking for another option. And, they probably look at Imran Khan or any other party as that option. Now, what he means by professional military, which has never intervened, I'm sorry, it's not as if suddenly one day people wake up in Islamabad and see the prime minister and ministers with his entire cabinet gone and military just comes flooding in. It's a process. There are sufficient historical evidence to prove that military creates violence. It creates that instability. It feeds that instability, and it also uses instability in the country to come into power. Now, here is a moment when Pakistan is again being unstable. Now, I'm not saying that it's probably ready to come in directly. Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell. In the next 24 hours, we'll know what has been decided.
All right. Another issue that I want to come into here, the PTI, Imran Khan's party, and the cleric Tahrir ul-Qadri are also angry about Pakistan's poorly performing economy and the failure to deliver services. I mean, let me put this to the Pakistani ambassador to France, Ghalib Iqbal. I mean, hasn't the government so far failed to deliver on economic performance, service delivery? And isn't this really why people are angry?
I think economically, since the time we have started our war on terror, probably, yes, we have lost a lot of money. We have lost a lot of investment, FDIs. And we have also lost a lot of infrastructural development. The government has started off with that. The primary problem at the moment in the country is the energy crisis. The government is right on the track. And the energy crisis cannot be redressed within 1 month or 2 months. It is going to take about 18 to 24 months to fix those projects, number one. Number two, as far as the economic indicators are concerned, they have improved since the last year to this time of this year. The credit rating internationally has improved for Pakistan. I'm not going to say, because whatever is happening, even because of these processions, we have lost about 400 billion rupees over there. The stock
which is about $100 million.
Yeah, exact. But 400 billion rupees. And the stock exchange has come down. There are problems. People are facing problems. So it's time for all the stakeholders to sit down together and negotiate. It's time for Mr. Imran Khan and Mr. Qadri to go and coordinate with the commission, the Supreme Court Commission, to ensure that whatever is being done in a transparent manner.
Umar Rehman of the PTI, will you negotiate with the government? So far, I believe your party is not willing to enter negotiations proposed by the government. Is that the case?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not fair to say that we are not willing to negotiate, because the thing is that what we are saying that is not being projected properly. What we are saying that this commission under the present government of Nawaz Sharif, it is not effective. This commission is not neutral. So we are ready to negotiate. We are ready to take all the decisions in the vast interest of the country. But our point is that this commission is under the same government that we are launching our complaints against. So how can you get the justice from them where we have got a serious allegations of the mass manipulation in the last election? So this cannot be done. This cannot be achieved.
So it seems, Ghalib Iqbal, that the door there is closed to dialogue. I mean, what happens next?
No, Parliament is supreme and it represents the people. There are 180 million people who are there in Pakistan. And I think Parliament is a place where all the people sit down together and decide the destiny. To say that the whole system is based on lies and fake promises, that could be a political slogan, and I don't want to talk about politics because I represent the state. I think it's the parliament which should be respected. It's the wishes of the people of Pakistan which should be respected. And 35 seats or 34 seats by Mr. Imran Khan, they have resigned from the parliament. They have decided to do that on their own and they have the right. But the overall parliament would decide what is there for Pakistan to go ahead on which direction. They are the one who represent the people.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see what direction Pakistan takes, but we'll have to leave it here for the France 24 debate for now, unfortunately. Big thank you to all my guests there. That's Khalib Iqbal, the Pakistani ambassador to France. Thank you, sir, for being with us. From Lahore, we were joined by Aisha Sadiqa, political analyst there. Thanks very much indeed for being with us tonight. And from Islamabad, we had Umar Rahman there, a member of the PTI, the Pakistan Movement for Justice, Imran Khan's party. Thank you for being with us as well. And thanks to you at home for watching. You have been tuned to the France 24 debate. More news coming up for you.